Hey everyone, this is Tish Griffin here, and I am Certified Credit Counselor here today with Family Credit Management Services to talk to you about your finances, about debt, about dealing with collection agencies, and most importantly, today's show, we are going to be talking about those money wasters or things that drain our budget that we don't even think about. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about taking those things, the things that we've learned, and applying them to teaching kids the value or more about money and finances. So as we get into today's topics, feel free to take notes and share this information because you never know what you're going through that can help someone else, or the things that you learn that can help someone else as well. So if you've got questions, if you have issues, if you're dealing with collection agencies, you're dealing with trying to get your credit back in order and you don't know what to do, reach out to Family Credit, and you can reach a certified counselor at familycredit.org or by calling 800-994-3328. That's right, there are counselors that are waiting to help you, that have the answers that you need, so use them as a resource and you'll just get that information that you need, feel so much better and so much more empowered about your situation. And as we've just wrapped up Financial Literacy Month, it's really important for us to start thinking a little bit more about finances. A lot of times when we think about money, we think about those big things like buying a home. We think about buying a car. We think about getting an apartment. We think about, our bank accounts, but we need to take a step back as well and think about where it all began. Remember growing up and thinking about, I want something, I want a toy, I want a doll, I want to be able to go here and there, I want to get snacks. A lot of times when I was even in school, we would walk to the grocery store before school, walk to the little corner stores and grab some snacks. We could spend $1. We had some people that were spending major money, a few, $5 even, but we were able to get those things that we wanted. But at that time, we weren't thinking about those types of decisions laid the ground for our financial future. That's right. Taking that money right then, even if it was anything more than 25, 50 cents at the time, and buying chips, candy, pop, juice, whatever it may be, that was satisfying those satisfactions right then and there, those things that we said that we wanted. And did we need it? Probably not. We got lunch at school, we ate at home, but we didn't think about those little money drains, even while we were younger, that started then. And we were teaching ourselves impulsive buying. We were teaching ourselves to run out and grab what we want right then and there. Now, as we've gotten older, we learn to think about what are our needs versus our wants. But all the times we still have those little, those little times in the month or in the day even, where we're like, I really want this. I really want to buy some fast food. I don't want to go home and cook. I don't want to do that. And so these are things that we're doing now, that were formed when we were younger and we have not even realized it yet. Think about that. What are those things that drain your budget constantly? And if we're recognizing those things now, how can we even help point those things out to our children or to future generations so they realize just the value of what it is that they're doing? Because I'm sure we have to start somewhere. And we didn't have a whole lot of guidance when it came to finances, or at least I didn't. Those in my neighborhood, my community didn't as well. And so we were just doing what we needed to do to get by. But even at such a young age, we should have been looking more at our budget. So a lot of kids nowadays, they get allowances, right? And this is where it all begins, because even little kids, sometimes they think that money actually does grow on trees. And we know that that's really not true. A lot of kids also think mommy and daddy and our grandparents, they're ATM machines. All you have to do is ask for the money and they will give it. So we want to be a little bit more aware and a little bit more self-conscious of those things that we are passing on to that generation as well, to our younger children, to those watching us. Because even with those little acts of kindness, or what we feel they're acts of love, we have to think about both sides. Is this really setting the behavior for something in the future that we're not even aware of? So what are some ways that, even with doing those acts of kindness, that we can go about teaching our children good money habits? What are some things that we can do to teach that behavior at a young age? So again, pulling up those allowances. A lot of kids, they get allowances based off of what their parents make, or whatever you feel you want to give your child. Sometimes people give allowances once a month when they get paid, whatever works for them. But we need to take it a little bit further. And let's sit down and go over a budget with a child, right? Crazy idea. I know you might think that it's crazy, but it's best to even start at that young age. No matter how old they are, we're still instilling the core values that our children need in order to succeed in life. So if let's say we give them $5, let's sit down with them and see how we can break this $5 down, and how we can allow them to save first. See, we're setting this while they're young, putting that in their minds while they're young. I've got $5. I need to save 50 cents out of this $5. And if they can save even more, that's great. One of the greatest joys that I have felt in my life was taking children to actually open up a bank account. Now we know kids don't really have access over their bank accounts, but for them to be excited and to be happy about going to the bank, taking the money that they have and putting it in there, and knowing that the next time that they come back, they'll have more. What about saving as well? A lot of people may even see change in the street, change on the ground, or I've heard this crazy idea where some people throw away pennies, right? It's still money. If you save up those coins, if you're saving up even just the little coins that you come across, whatever you have, it turns into more when you put it against something else. So even taking that child to the bank where they can use the coin machine. Some grocery stores even have coin machines as well, where they can put in however much they put in all of their change, and it'll count it for them. Some people might be old school, I know I am, and like to sit down and count the money with the child. And right there, we're teaching them again the value of breaking that money down, seeing how it's set up. And okay, let's take this $5, maybe we give it in change. And we give that $5 to them and say, okay, we're going to put 50 cents here. And with this, we're going to do this. You want to buy something, where this is your budget for buying something. And then what are some of those monthly expenses that you have, or what is it that you like to do? It could be something as small as going to get ice cream, going to the restaurant and grab a cheeseburger, whatever it may be. They want a toy. And those are some things that we can instill early on to help combat that mindset that when they get older, they're struggling with finances. Because now, guess what? They've started at a young age, and the first thing that they know to do when they get any type of money is to save first. Yes, that instant gratification is strong. And with children, there are so many different things that pull towards them. They may want money for online gaming or Roblox, or, those little things that we don't even think about, that they know about, but we don't really understand it. Guess what? It's time to jump in with them and see what it is that they like. What are they going to spend their money on? Now, Family Credit has this great book that I want to share with you. It is called Catherine and Elizabeth Go Shopping. It's a great story that you can use, that you can read to your children to help teach them the value of money and the importance of handling your needs versus what you want. And added bonus, it touches on saving as well. That's what we've been talking about. That's where that foundation is with our children. Not that instant gratification won't be there, but if we can work on touching the needs first. So we've got that budget that we set down with the kids, and we're going to break it up and show them, okay, this is the amount that you've got coming in. Now, we call them our expenses. For them, most of them is just what they want to spend their money on, what's important to them. We talked about the online gaming. We talked about possibly buying toys. We talked about some other things as well. So we want to make sure that they set out the amount that they need for savings for themselves. And then let's look at those other expenses that the children like or that they're interested in. We want to see what it is that they spend their money on. If you've got questions about this so far, any of these topics, and to grab that book that I'm telling you about, Family Credit will send you that book for free if you reach out on the website at familycredit.org or call 1-800-994-3328. You can get that great tool to share with your children, especially with the summer coming. We want to start thinking about this because they're going to be out of school. Kids are going to be out of school for the most part. And this is a time where you can work together and to instill some of those values where they're not stressed about money. Go over the budget with them. Let them have their own budget and see how much that they will have at the end. And then again, how much more they can put towards savings. So yes, they may have $5 in the beginning, but in the end, guess what? There may be something left over after they've gotten what they want, and they can add that to their savings from the beginning as well. That way, we're making sure that we're covering each and every aspect while they are young so that they'll be okay. Another thing, you want to have conversations with your children about money, about finances. Yes, talk to them about those things that they may feel that they want. Let's say you're in the grocery store or you're in the store and they see a toy that they want. The price could be pretty expensive. So we want to pose it to them a few different ways. First off, have they worked for whatever it is that they want? Can they afford it on their own? And if not, what is it going to take, or how many more weeks do they need to save to get to that? Also, you may look at teaching them about savings a little bit more. Are there any discounts out there, or can they buy something similar to that product that's either cheaper or better for them? Those are the routes that we want to take, especially, like I said, while they're young, be it they're 4 years old or 16 years old. They all still need to know, what are those steps or things that you can take so that you're saving more each and every single month? Have those conversations, those tough conversations about money too. I know the first time that I had a conversation with my oldest about money, because he kept asking for something. He wanted something off of eBay or some website. Don't even remember the site. But I said, you know what? I'm sitting here going over the bills. We're stretched right now, and he still couldn't grasp that concept. So what did I do? I sat him down. And this was back in the day when you had the check register. You had to go through your checkbook, and you had to just compare that with everything, make sure that your bills are paid by going through your checking register. So I said, here you go. This is what I made. This is my paycheck. I showed him a copy of my pay stub. This is what I get. These are our bills, and this is the checkbook. I want you to go through and you tell me, how would you handle this? How would you use the money that I made to pay all of these expenses that we had? And I remember sitting there, and he's going through everything, and he's getting so frustrated. And he's like, you know what? I can't do it. I don't see how you do it in a month. But that was eye-opening. That was some way that he could sit and look at everything and say, oh yeah, I do need to think more about money when I get older. I do need to know how to handle finances. I see what my mom is going through. I see all of these bills here. Now I need to learn how to make it work, or even better, what can I do so that I'm prepared for everything that I face when I get older? And that's why we want to have that conversation with our children about money early on. So another thing that we can do is when we're shopping, when we're out with the children, we want to make sure that they're checking the receipts and that you are checking yours too. We're talking a little bit about money wasters. Sometimes we may be charged for things and we don't even realize it. We're in the store, things go through, some items can get rung up twice. Things happen. But you want to make sure you're paying attention to it so that if something were to pop up where you're charged twice, or something, wasn't to your satisfaction, you've got that receipt, you can look at it, you can pinpoint it, and you can point that out. Now you may say, why is it important for me to go over that with my child? Why should I tell them to take the receipt or look at the receipt? Great question. As you get older, it's important to pay attention to all the little slips of paper that you come across, be it your bills, the receipts that you have for something. And I know our business owners are out there. You do have to keep track of your expenses, right? So you need those receipts. Why not make them important at an early age as well? Now, there's a lot of different apps out there. There's pictures we can take on our phone, different ways to keep track of things. We can write things down in a book. We can teach them that too. But make sure that you're paying for the right things. Make sure that if something were to go wrong, you still have that receipt. You still have that guarantee, because a lot of the products out there, they do have a satisfaction guarantee on it, right? Meaning that if you bought something and it was not to your satisfaction, or you did not work for you, or it was just broke, you can return it, right? And you can get your money back. You can get compensated for that. That's important, because so many people throw money away because they didn't keep track of their receipts. They don't have the receipts. They don't remember when they bought it. But these are ways that we're letting money get away from us. Also, we may look at something, think we need it, and just say, oh, well, I'll just take it home. And then if it works, then that's great. If this isn't the right thing, I'll bring it back. And we never do. Lost money right there. We're draining our budgets and we haven't even thought about it. So yes, you have to make a conscious effort to keep that extra money in your household. When you're spending wisely. And at any point that something does not work for you, as a consumer, you have the right to replace that item or to get refunded or compensated for it. So pay attention to those things, because we want to teach our children early on. These are things that you want to look out for. So also, we're trying to develop good habits in our children. And as you budget, if you've got any questions about budgeting, if you're feeling like you don't know how to start, you don't know what to do, you don't know where to start with that, I've got some great tips for you. Got some great tools. Go to Family Credit's website at familycredit.org, and you can download My Spending Plan. And you can also download Personal Finance Made Easy. Both of them are great tools that have the guidelines for you to start budgeting. You can sit there, you can go through that tool. Now, let's say you're still a little bit off, you don't know what to do. Reach out to a counselor. Call Family Credit to help you get your finances in order, to sit down and give you that budgeting guide, to go through those tips with you. And at the end of the day, you've got someone, a resource that you know you can go to, and you've got this guide that you can keep referring back to until you know you have things in order. So yeah, you should do that. Go to the website, familycredit.org, or reach out to a counselor at 800-994-3328. I want you to be financially empowered. I want to see you succeed with your finances. And this is the perfect way to get started. Get all of the tools. Family Credit will send them to you for free, might I add, and you can get multiple copies. How cool is that? You got this guide that you can use, and you're going through your finances, you're teaching your children about money, and you're help getting things set up. So I want to see you succeed, and we want to start setting those good habits, developing those good habits when it comes to our money, our finances, and dealing with debt, because you don't have to stay there. A lot of people feel that when something bad happens, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to react. But a lot of this starts way before something bad happens. It starts now with developing those financial habits, those good habits. And it's not even just about, a lot of people think, okay, well, it's just about the credit score. They're always just talking about the credit score. No, it is so all-encompassing. It's very inclusive. How your credit report works with your budget, works with your finances, that actually keeps account of your score. It all flows together. That score, that report, your budget, all of your money. So we want you to be able to not just work for your money, but make your money work for you. So when I say we want to look at developing those good habits, that really does mean you have to take a look inside of yourself, inside of what you've got going on, and truly look at your spending habits and see, what are those money wasters that I have? What's draining my budget? Yes, I've got this going on. I've got that going on. But what are some things that actually drain my finances that I'm not realizing? All of us, we have money wasters. We've got spending leaks in our budget. And it's up to us to recognize those and cut those out. You may think that it's just really about the money, like, oh, I don't spend any extra. I don't, go outside my budget. But there are other ways, other things that are out there that attack our budgets, and we're not even paying attention to those either. It could be in the form of paying more interest, paying more fees, looking at our credit card statements and looking at the rates get higher and higher. Those are going to hit your budget. Everything nowadays, everything is costing more money, be it your utilities at home, the money that you're spending out, your budget that you've set for, like your food and your groceries. There are so many ways that our money gets out from under us. So we have to pay attention. We've got to sit down. We've got to develop those good habits. And what's the first thing that people say when you're looking at your budget? Yes, you have to know what you're working with. You have to put that out there. You have to go through your income, know the ins and outs of your income, and then look at your expenses to see what it is that you can do to make things better. A lot of people nowadays are seeing that, yes, we're going back to the restaurants. We are getting back out there, and guess what? We're starting to spend way more than we used to. How do we reel that back in? Yes, everything is costing more, but think about this. When you go to a restaurant and you sit down, you buy a meal. A lot of times we buy a couple of drinks and we just sit back, relax, and have fun. We get that bill for just 2 people. You're probably looking at $100 or so. So even thinking about that, it's not necessarily about being cheap, but what are some things that we can do to cut the cost of that meal down? Some of the fast food restaurants out there, they have little surveys that you can do, little coupons that you can collect, or points and loyalty systems which will allow you to get free food. If you're out for a fancy dinner, think about this too. The cost of drinks nowadays can sometimes outweigh the cost of your full meal. If you're in one of those places and you see that a drink actually costs about $20 or close to it, think about maybe I'll skip the drink right now and I'll get something to drink at home. I'll drink once I return back to my home. Here's one of the little things that I did that caused me to recognize the money that I was wasting on drinks. If you look at the drink menu of any restaurant, and while you're sitting there waiting, go through the drink menu, and I'm challenging you to pick a bottle on the wine list and look up the actual cost if you were to get that from a regular store. Look up that label, look up the stores near you. You may look at Benny's, whatever grocery stores are in your area, and see how much they actually pay for that bottle. I'm sure once you see the cost and the markup, which is astronomical, then you'll think twice about getting a drink while you're out. I do recommend that you do that. And then look at some different ways for you to save, because some of even the major chains, the larger chains, they have loyalty programs as well where you can save on your meals and save on eating at different times of the day. Something that you may even want to consider, instead of going out for the meal, see what happy hours are available. Now, happy hours does not mean drinks, even though a lot of times that's the first thing we think. But guess what? They serve regular food during that time as well. And sometimes you can get just as full on those half-priced appetizers or whatever discounted food that they're offering than you would your regular entree. So those are just a few tips, a few things, a few ideas that I want you to think about as you go through trying to save money, trying to make your budget work, trying to go through your finances, and cutting out those spending leaks. Family Credit also has available this great little pamphlet guide called 100 Small Ways to Save Big. You can request that for free as well, or you can download it at familycredit.org. If you've got any questions about your finances, about budgeting, about just dealing with money, trying to figure out which route you should take with your money, whether you should save, whether you should invest, whatever those things are, if you're looking for help with your credit report, reach out to a counselor at 800-994-3328 because counselors are standing by. Or visit the website. We talked about a lot of great tools here. You'll be able to get those off of Family Credit's website or ask Family Credit to ship them to you. That's right, they will put them in the mail free of charge directly to you. and you can get whatever quantity you may want. Whatever reasonable quantity you need, they've got you. So reach out to Family Credit again, familycredit.org, 800-994-3328. All right, we will see you again sometime soon where we will be discussing more about your finances and going through everything. So remember, teach your kids about money, needs versus wants, and then do the same for yourself. Take care.